On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome you to Exeter LitFest 2021. Each April, our literary festival celebrates local authors. Due to COVID, we find ourselves with a small virtual festival this year, but no matter, it just makes it a bit more cozy. Hi, my name is Renee Allen, and I invite you to get comfortable and enjoy our offerings for 2021. While we wait for people to finish logging on to this Zoom, I'll share our schedule. Our Thursday night keynote speaker is Exeter-born author Victoria Arlen. Her journey from a coma to a Paralympian to a contestant on Dancing with the Stars to an ESPN commentator is truly remarkable. Last year, she had her flight booked to return to Exeter to speak for us at the town hall, but obviously we had to cancel the event. We are honored that she graciously agreed to participate in this year's virtual event. Now on Friday night, our event is a mix of 4 local authors in a party-style Zoom about writing and publishing. Alex Myers, Lisa Bunker, Laura Bricker, and myself. Saturday morning, we invite children to a story hour at 9 a.m., courtesy of the Exeter Public Library. Then at 11 a.m., you will meet Susan Cole Ross, another author with a newly released homeschooling memoir. If you need a Zoom link to any of these events, send an email to exeterlitfest@gmail.com. Please also visit our website where you can find a database of local authors, past and present, and 2 downloadable local literary trail maps. Walking our downtown literary trails is a great socially distanced activity for you and your family this spring. Our website is exeterlitfest.com. We hope to hold next April's LitFest in person again, but for this year, please enjoy the virtual show. We thank Exeter TV for filming this, and we thank you for your support.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Will, and I am from the Exeter Public Library Children's Room, and I am here this morning to read you one of my favorite books recently. It's called Bunnies Book Club. It's by Annie Silvestro. It's illustrated by Tatiana Mai Wiss. This is one of my favorite books recently because it's about a bunny who loves books and how he learns to share that love of books in the library with all of his friends. You see, it's Bunnies Book Club. Bunny loved books. He'd loved them ever since he first heard the lady with the red glasses reading aloud outside the library. As he listened, Bunny imagined himself climbing mountains, captaining a ship, ruling a kingdom. But when summer ended, storytime moved back inside. Bunny wasn't sure if animals were allowed in the library, but Bunny was sure he couldn't live without books. Night after night, he could hardly sleep for wishing. He had to do something. So, with a flashlight in his paws and hope in his heart, Bunny jumped out of bed and tiptoed through the dark. I wonder, where do you think he could be going? But when he reached the library door, it was locked. So were the windows. Bunny tried digging, climbing, yanking. Nothing worked. Until finally he noticed. What do you think he could have noticed? Until finally he noticed the book return The shiny handle was far above his head, but it was no match for a high-hopping bunny hungry for books. Bunny leapt. He clung to the bar, flung himself over, and wriggled his cotton tail through the slot. He landed inside with a thud. Bunny's eyes sparkled at the sight of the shelves bursting with books. It was better than a field full of fresh, crunchy carrots. Bunny didn't know where to start. He took a deep breath. It smelled as if he were wrapped inside the pages of his favorite book. He followed his nose to the adventure section. There he found stories about swashbucklers, sharks, and superheroes. Bunny greedily grabbed them all. His whiskers twitching with excitement, he slipped his treasures through the book slot, one by one. Then, performing his best balancing act, Bunny wobbled home. He couldn't wait to dig in. And so, Bunny returned to the library each night. He searched and sneaked, then scurried back to read. Soon his home was more books than burrow. Then, one evening, a loud knock startled Bunny. He closed his book and opened the door. "Where have you been?" asked Porcupine. "Reading," said Bunny. "Why?" said Porcupine. Bunny's eyes popped wide open. "Why?" he sputtered. "Have you ever been to the library?" It was time for Bunny to let Porcupine in on his secret. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" said Porcupine. "Calm your quills," said Bunny. "I'm too prickly. I'll never fit." Bunny pushed and shoved until pop went Porcupine. Bunny slipped in and flipped on his flashlight. "Whoa," said Porcupine. "I know," said Bunny. "Do you think there's a story about balloons?" "I've always wondered about balloons." "Most definitely," said Bunny. Sure enough, Porcupine found books on balloons, and on deserts and dunes, on caterpillars and cocoons. When Bunny handed him one about hedgehogs, he hugged it. The two friends took turns cramming books out the slot. Their towers teetered so high they could barely carry them. Back at Bunny's, they cozied up with cups of tea and carrot muffins. Together, they read until sunrise. One night, Bear noticed the light on at Bunnies. He opened the door and tripped over a stack of books. "What's going on?" said Bear. "Here," said Bunny, handing him a book. Bear made room and settled in to read. Soon, more curious animals began visiting. "Do you have any books about outer space?" said Bird. "Or about volcanoes?" asked Mole. "I'd like a ghost story," said Mouse. "I think it's time for a field trip," said Bunny. You see all of Bunny's friends in the picture. One by one, the animals stuffed themselves inside the library. Bear caused a bit of a delay. They scattered about, sniffing the stacks, pawing over pages. Squirrel gathered stories about the circus. Raccoon nabbed one about outlaws and bandits. Frog found a fairy tale. No one heard the key in the front door. No one heard the clack, clack, clacking of footsteps. No one heard the light flick on. Uh-oh, what do you think is happening? "What do we have here?" said the librarian. The animals looked up in shock. Bunny gasped. Porcupine gaped. Bear groaned. "Follow me," she said. The animals marched slowly behind her. "We're done for," whispered Porcupine. "All libraries have rules," the librarian said sternly. Bunny's whiskers trembled. Porcupine's back bristled. Bear eyed the door. Bunny stepped forward to take the blame. The librarian leaned down. "The first rule is, every book lover must have one of these," she said. She handed Bunny and his friends shiny, new library cards. "Now you may borrow books," she said, smiling, "as long as you return them, of course." Bunny couldn't believe his ears. They could keep coming to the library. He beamed at his fellow readers, then bounced to the shelves. He picked the perfect book, and he proudly checked out the very first official selection for Bunny's Book Club. And that is the end of Bunny's Book Club, at least. What did everybody think of that book? Did you like it? Did you have a favorite character? I liked Bunny quite a lot, but I also liked Bird. Now, I have a second book for us all this morning. It's called Library Books Are Not for Eating. Do you think that's true? I think probably. I think probably. I think I might get in trouble if I tried to eat the library books. Library Books Are Not for Eating is by Todd Tarpley and illustrated by Tom Booth. Look at this. It looks like somebody's already been eating this library book. I can put my hand right through it. Huh. I wonder what that's about. Oh, and here on the inside, what do we have? Children with books. They all have bites taken out of them. And a dinosaur in a cardigan. I've never met a dinosaur who wears sweaters or glasses. Library books are not for eating. The day Miss Bronte came to school, story time was extra cool. She told great jokes, was never mean, biggest smile you'd ever seen. I suppose the dinosaur is the teacher named Miss Bronte. One small problem, couldn't beat it. Once she read a book, she'd eat it. She'd say, "The end." You'd hear a crunch. Then 3 or 4 more books by lunch. Ms. Bronte, the kids would keep repeating, library books are not for eating. Miss Bronte promised with a roar that she'd be eating books no more. But as soon as story time was done, oops, there'd go another one. Ms. McSmartly called her in. "Miss Bronte, where do I begin? You're eating books. That isn't right. You need to curb your appetite. I think you know where this is leading. Library books are not for eating." Ms. Bronte promised with a roar that she'd be eating books no more. When Ms. McSmartly turned her head, she ate up all her books instead. Oh no. Ms. Bronte simply can't control herself. At lunchtime, when she ate 2 more, the lunchroom lady stomped the floor. "Ms. Bronte, you must change your diet. Books taste yucky, don't deny it. Instead of books, try something new. My cottage cheese and meatball stew. We've got to rearrange your feeding. Library books are not for eating." Uh-oh. You see the food the lunchroom lady made? Do the children look like they're very excited to eat what she's made? I don't think so. Do you think Ms. Bronte will try it? Ms. Bronte promised with a roar that she'd be eating books no more. She took 1 bite of cottage cheese, then ate 3 books of recipes. She took a walk to clear her head. Down to the soccer field she fled. Coach Burley blew his whistle loudly, pointing to his players proudly. "I've got problems of my own, a soccer field that's overgrown. Can't mow the grass, can't pick the weeds. You're not the only one with needs. Be a winner, no more cheating. Library books are not for eating." Looks like the children are having trouble playing soccer in the tall, tall grass. Ms. Bronte promised with a roar that she'd be eating books no more. But as Coach Burley turned his gaze, she ate his book of soccer plays. Miss Bronte packed her bags that day. I'm sorry, but I cannot stay. It's not that I find books so yummy, but nothing else here fills my tummy. If I could find a bulb or seed, a blade of grass, a bush, a weed. Suddenly, her plan was clear. She'd make the wild weeds disappear. All she had to do was eat them, let her appetite defeat them. Now Miss Bronte just eats weeds. They fill her dietary needs. The soccer team has gone unbeaten. Not a single book's been eaten. I bet the grass tastes better than books, too. Every morning right at 9, Ms. Bronte leads the story time. And every afternoon at 4, she's on the sidelines keeping score. The soccer field is good as new. Kids run and kick where weeds once grew. The moral of this tale you're reading: library books are not for eating. A happy tale this might have been. But then they hired Mr. Finn. And that is the end. I really like that book too. I think it's very, very silly. I don't think any books, let alone library books, would taste very good. So I'm glad Ms. Bronte found something else to eat. Well, thank you for spending some time with me this morning. Again, I'm Will from the Exeter Public Library Children's Room. I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.